सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्त गोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्।
Yesterday we had seen the first topic, that is preciousness of human birth. Now we will move on to the next topic, qualifications of a spiritual seeker. What are the qualifications necessary so that we can successfully do sadhana and attain the spiritual goal? Verse number 14. अधिकारिणमाशास्ते फलसिद्धिर्विशेषतः उपायादेशकालाद्याः सन्त्यस्मिन् सहकारिणः. On what factors the phalasiddhi, the success in spiritual life, depends on? Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, there can be very many contributing factors. Santi asmin sahakarinaha. There can be very many contributing factors, but phalasiddhi, the success, visheshataha, mainly adhikarinam ashaste, depends on the adhikari. There can be very many contributing factors like desha, kala, etc. Desha kaladhyaha. But the main factor is the qualification of the seeker. Is the seeker qualified? All other factors are secondary. Very many times it happens. The father calls the son who is not studying well. Now the son has brought home his progress report with all marks below average. Now the father's advice begins. My dear son, in our school days we underwent so many hardships. My father did not have money. Also, the school was so far, 6 to 7 kilometers away, and we had to go walking up and down. No school bus, no electricity, no proper books, no pencil or pen. Though I was a very brilliant child, I did not study well because all these faculties which you are now enjoying, we never got it. So father is telling the son, though I was a brilliant student, I could not study because I lacked these facilities. But you should study because you have all the facilities. Well, the father may fool his son, but he cannot fool the world. The fact is, if the father were to be a brilliant child, he would have definitely come up irrespective of the outer circumstances. As the famous saying goes, where there is a will, there is a way. Among devotee class also, there are so many people who come and say, Swamiji, you are so lucky. But we are all samsaris. We have husband, wife, children, father, mother, in-laws, relations. We have to take care of all of them. Also, so many responsibilities at the family front, at the professional front. So many social commitments. So it is just impossible to do any sadhana, Swamiji. To all such devotees, Bhagavan Shankaracharya's clear-cut answer is, shut up. If I am not able to do my sadhana properly, let me not blame my circumstances. I alone am responsible for my lack of seriousness in sadhana. Let us not blame anyone else for this. Let us blame ourselves alone. If this is our attitude, then definitely, slowly, the qualifications which are going to be discussed will come to us. But as long as we are blaming others, we will remain where we were, because we will not focus our attention on ourselves, but we will focus our attention on all unwanted and unimportant things. So the first and the foremost thing is, let us take the responsibility onto our own shoulders. So now Bhagavan is going to discuss the qualifications necessary for a seeker. The qualification can be divided into two. One is general qualification and the other is specific qualification. General qualification is mentioned in verse number 16. Medhavi purusho vidwan uha poha vichakshanaha adhikaryatma vidyayam ukta lakshana lakshitaha. So Bhagavan says, these are the three general qualifications for a seeker. Number one, he must be a medhavi. Number two, he must be a vidwan. Number three, he must be uha poha vichakshanaha. So first let us see vidwan. So who is a vidwan? Vidwan means a scholarly person. But here it means a person who is comfortable with the language of communication. In the entire process of learning, the teacher imparts knowledge through a medium of communication. He is using a language for communicating the scriptural message. So it becomes absolutely necessary that the seeker is comfortable with that language, or else he will never be able to understand what the teacher is saying. So medium of communication should never be a barrier in the transfer of knowledge. So the first general qualification is being comfortable with the language of communication. So Vidwan means a person who is comfortable with the medium of communication. He need not necessarily be a scholarly person. Second one is Medhavi. So who is a Medhavi? The one who has Medha is called a Medhavi. Medha means memory power. Now why is this memory power important here? Now, in this entire process of teaching, the teacher is going to follow a systematic methodology. There is a step-by-step development of thought, in which we travel from the known to the unknown guided by the teacher. So when the teacher gives a step-by-step explanation of teaching in a systematic and logical manner, the student is expected to remember those previous steps which has led the discussion to the present step. What happens if the previous steps are forgotten? It will be like the lines drawn on water. Every time the teacher will have to start from the beginning. So here, Medhavi means a student who is able to remember the thought flow of the discussion taken up by the teacher. Please understand, Medhavi doesn't mean the one who can by heart or memorize all the mantras and the slokas of Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, Stotrams, etc. There are people who just love doing it, very good, nothing wrong. But here, Medhavi means the one who is able to follow the logical thought development of the teacher. Now the third general qualification is Uha Apoha Vichakshanaha. The one who is Vichakshana, an expert, one who is efficient. Efficient in what? Uha and Apoha. Uha means taking up, Apoha means giving up. The one who is capable of taking in, that is grasping what is essential, and giving up, leaving out, that is discarding what is non-essential. So when the teacher teaches, he may use lot of anecdotes, similes, jokes, stories, day-to-day examples in order to convey a message. Very many people, they get so absorbed in these stories and jokes that they forget the central message, the central teaching. There are people who say, "Oh, Puja Gurudev, what a great speaker. What English?" Then you ask him, "But what did he say?" "Oh, he cracked this joke, he told that story." But what is the point he wanted to convey? "Oh, that I don't know. I forgot. I didn't understand." Very many times you are carried away by the non-essentials and the main thing is forgotten. I remember an incident. It's a true story. Once Swamījī was giving a talk. In order to convey the message of how in modern times people make illegal money, he gave the example of the modern day doctors. A person comes with a simple cold and how the doctors create fear in the patient and he is made to undergo all kinds of tests and scans. And even if it is a minor problem, he is made to undergo surgery and this and that, etc. So Swamījī was narrating some case histories. Next day, Swamījī gets an anonymous letter which said, "Swamījī, I am very much disturbed. You have insulted the doctor community. Now onwards, I am not going to attend any of your talks." Now, this person took that example personally. The main message is forgotten and some incidental, unimportant example became the most important. So what is Uha Poha Vichakshana? Suppose you listen to a 1-hour lecture, then you must be able to put the essence of the whole teaching in one word, if needed in one sentence, or if needed in one paragraph. Then we can say you have understood the essence of the whole teaching. If one can do this, then such a person is called Uha Poha Vichakshana. Without beating around the bush, he is able to absorb the central message, the core teaching. So these are the 3 general qualifications. Number 1, Vidwan, being comfortable with the medium of communication. Number 2, Medhavi, the ability to remember the entire thought flow, the steps, the sequence, the procedure, the methodology, etc. And number 3, Uha Poha Vichakshana, the ability to take what is essential and drop the non-essentials. Now, why are they called general qualifications? They are called general qualifications because a person may have all these qualifications, but in spite of these qualifications, he may not be qualified for spirituality. Okay, then what are the specific qualifications or the most important qualifications necessary which really qualifies a seeker? Verse number 18. Sadhananyatra chatvari kathitani manishibhihi yeshu satsveva sannistha yadabhavena siddhyati. Manishibhihi, the wise people. Kathitani, they talk about. What do they talk about? Chatvari sadhanani, the fourfold qualifications. Yeshu satsu eva, if the seeker has got these fourfold qualification, then alone, sannistha, then alone, he will be able to abide in the truth. Yadabhave, in whose absence, nasiddhyati, it is not possible. He will not succeed. So if the seeker has these fourfold qualifications, he'll be able to abide in the truth. He'll be able to experience the reality. But if he doesn't have these qualifications, then he will not be successful. What are those fourfold qualifications? Verse number 19. Ādau nitya nitya vastu Viveka of Pariganyate Ihamutra phala bhoga Virāgasthadanantaram Shamadhi shatka sampattihi Mumukshuttvamiti sphutam. So what are the fourfold qualifications necessary for a seeker? Ādau, the first one, Nitya Anitya Vastu Vivekaha. The first one is Vivekaha, the ability to discriminate. Discriminate between what? Between Nitya and Anitya. Nitya, permanent, and Anitya, impermanent. So Nitya Anitya Vastu Vivekaha means the ability to discriminate, discern, differentiate between the permanent and the impermanent. Tadanantaram, after that, what is the next qualification? Iha amutra phala bhoga viragaha. Viragaha, dispassion. Dispassion towards what? Bhoga, towards all kinds of enjoyments which have come because of our karma phala. Therefore, phala bhoga viragaha. We have done so many actions in the past. As a result of those karmas, enjoyments have come. Where do we get these enjoyments? Iha, in this world, or amutra, in the other worlds, like Swarga, etc. So what should be our attitude towards these enjoyments? Viragaha, our attitude should be dispassion, disinterest, no interest, distaste. This is called Viraga or Vairāgya, which is qualification number 2. Details will come later. Next one, the third one, Shamadhi shatka sampattihi. Sixfold inner virtues or inner wealth, beginning from Shama. What are those sixfold qualifications? It will be discussed in detail later. The next one, the fourth one, Mumukshutvam. Mumukshutvam means the desire for liberation. Iti sphutam. Undoubtedly, these are the fourfold qualifications. So what are they? Vivekaha, Viragaha, Shamadhi shatka sampattihi, and Mumukshutvam. So those who have these qualifications, then Yeshu satsveva sannistha. For them, they will easily reach the goal. Right. Now what are these fourfold qualifications? A detailed explanation begins. First we will see Vivekaha. Verse number 20. Brahma satyam jagan mithyeti evam rupo vinischayah soyam nitya nitya vastu Viveka samudahritah. Viveka samudahritah. This is known as Viveka. What? Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Brahman alone is Satyam, real. The world is Mithya, is a mere illusion. Evam Rupo Vinishchaya. A clear understanding, a firm conviction in this, that Brahman alone is real and the world is an illusion. This clear understanding is called Viveka. Soyam Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka. This is called Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka. Now let's see what this Viveka is. Now the very text itself is named Vivekachūdāmani. That shows the importance of this virtue. This virtue is the most important because all other qualifications are directly or indirectly connected to, and they come from this virtue. Now, in life, we all go through various experiences. And when we analyze these experiences of our life, what do we see? If our mind is impure and unprepared, then we will not see the realities of life, but we will see only the superficialities covering the reality. We will see gain, loss, victory, defeat, pleasure, pain, honor, dishonor, praise, criticism, etc. These are the things seen by, analyzed by, experienced by a mind which is stuck up superficially. It is stuck there. It just cannot go beyond it. It cannot go deeper, just like oil floating on water. So all the time that mind is thinking of ragadvesha, kamakrodha, mana apamana. This person spoke about me in this way. That person commented about me in that way. How dare he speak to me like this, etc., etc., etc. If this is the way we find our mind chattering, then that is a sign of an impure mind. And such a mind cannot see the realities of life. It is stuck up in the superficial names and forms. It is stuck up in its own ragadveshas, whims and fancies, and petty, narrow-minded divisions and superimpositions. Now, what about a pure mind? How will a pure mind analyze the situation of life? How will a pure mind analyze the situations of life? Now, a pure mind is capable of seeing the reality because it is free from colors of likes and dislikes. It sees things as it is. Now, what does it see? It sees the anityata of the world, the impermanence of the world. To experience impermanence of the world, no guru is necessary, no shastra is necessary. We only need to analyze our life with a pure mind, free from ragadvesha. So with such a mind, when we look around, we find that everything in this world is impermanent. If we observe carefully, we see only the dance of death everywhere. In full zoom, Lord Death alone is dancing. Impermanence appears to be the only permanent thing. Look at this body. Every moment it is decaying and dying. Now when you start thinking this way, you just cannot even celebrate your birthday because you are not seeing the joy of birth, but you are seeing the inevitability of death. In every birthday, you see yourself marching from the womb to the tomb. There is this constant march going on all over the world. Plants, insects, animals, human beings, birds. Some reach the tomb crawling while others reach there flying. Some reach the tomb prepared, others reach there unprepared. Some reach the tomb through prolonged disease, while others reach there instantly through fatal accidents. Some reach the tomb old, while others reach there young. Whatever be the mode of transport or the speed of transport, but one thing is for sure, none can escape reaching the tomb. None can escape death. When we see the brutal truth of life, that death alone will have the final laugh, then how can we celebrate the birthday? With every birthday, we are one step closer to death. Is it that we need to celebrate? With every birthday, the body has become a little more older, a little more infirm, a little more weak. Is it that we need to celebrate? This is the way in which a Viveki thinks. In front of him, he sees reality and reality alone. Everything else is nonsense for him. Body is impermanent. Relationships are impermanent. Possessions and positions are impermanent. Name and fame are impermanent. Love is impermanent. Earth, sun, moon, galaxy, stars, all are impermanent. Tell me one thing which is permanent in this world. A Viveki is interested only in the permanent because only a permanent thing can give permanent joy. An impermanent thing, however dear it may be, it can never give permanent joy. An impermanent thing can give only anxieties and worries, stress and tension, and in the end, it can give us only lasting sorrow. So there is a kind of revulsion in a Viveki for everything impermanent. When he interacts with the world, when he is exposed to the world, his intellect sees only one thing prominently protruding out. That is the anityata of the world. Now just imagine this person who is seeing impermanence alone, what will be his mental condition? Can he ever be happy? Impossible. This experience of impermanence is really suffocating. On the other hand, what about an aviveki foolish man? Well, he either doesn't see the reality or he always tries to escape from the reality. He is either blind or an escapist. He doesn't see, or even if he sees, he tries to ignore the truth by focusing on the fleeting joys. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a beautiful metaphor. So here is a person who is running for life in a thick forest. He is chased by some wild animal. He is running and suddenly he stumbles across a stone and he falls into a dry, deep well. But as he was falling, he catches hold of a branch protruding out from the side walls of the well. Now because of his weight, the branch also starts giving way. It also starts breaking. So now while falling, this person had knocked on one honey comb hanging from the top of the tree. A dent was created in it and the honey was dripping. Now this person who is hanging onto a breaking branch, seeing the honey dripping from the top, sticks out his tongue to lick that honey. Just imagine, death is sure for him. If he falls, he will surely die. The well is deep and dry. It is filled with big stones and there are poisonous snakes crawling all over below. Outside there is this wild animal waiting for its prey. So this man is encountering a sure death situation, and here is this person forgetting all this and sticking out his tongue to lick the honey. Well, this is our story. Our life is so uncertain. We are also hanging on to that branch of life which may break at any time. Nalini dalagata jalamati taralam tattva jivitam atishaya chapalam. Life is so uncertain, like the water droplet playing on a lotus leaf. Even while living also, there is so much of suffering. Vidhi vyadhi abhimanagrastam lokam shokahatam chasamastam. So we are having a life which is not only uncertain, but a life which is full of suffering. But alas, Our attention is entirely upon the petty, paltry, fleeting pleasures of life, and in the process, we forget the sorrow-filled realities of life. Ignoring the breaking branch, we are busy licking the drops of honey. Now one may think, why God has created so much of suffering in this world? Well, in fact, in spirituality, this suffering is considered to be the most auspicious in the life of a seeker. That is why Bhagavad Gita starts with Arjuna Vishāda Yoga, the yoga of sorrow. It has to start with vishāda because that is a beginning of the most auspicious thing. The sorrows in our life are considered auspicious in spirituality because in those sorrowful moments there opens up a possibility of introspection. There opens up a possibility of looking within, a possibility of seeking permanent peace. There opens up a possibility for searching for the nitya vastu. Only in those moments of failure, in those moments of utter dejection, helplessness and misery, one starts searching for the nitya vastu. Tragedies, failures and kicks from the world can become a blessing in disguise because they can become a turning point in our life. Many times we take only success, prosperity, wealth, name, fame, only these goody things, we take it as a blessing from God. But according to scriptures, that which opens the doors of liberation alone is the highest blessing. Sorrow and sufferings in this regard have a great role to play in making us seek the permanent and the eternal. So they are indeed blessings of the Lord alone. So the first qualification necessary for a seeker is Viveka, Nitya, Anitya, Vastu Viveka. That ability to painfully be aware of the impermanence of the world, because only then we will seek the Nitya Vastu single-pointedly and wholeheartedly. Now, this Viveka brings in automatically the other three qualifications, that is Vairāgya, Samadhi Shatka Sampatti and Mumukshutva. How? The moment you divide the whole world into Nitya and Anitya, what is your attitude towards Anitya? You develop a distaste, a disinterest towards Anitya because they cannot give permanent happiness. This distaste for everything impermanent is called Vairāgya, dispassion. Now what will be your attitude towards Nitya Vastu? You will badly want to have it. This badly wanting the Nitya Vastu is called Mumukshutvam, the desire for liberation. All those virtues needed for the mind to shift its attention from Anitya Vastu to Nitya Vastu. These 6 virtues are called Samadhi Shatka Sampatti. Therefore we can say that Viveka gives birth to all the other 3 qualifications. Now if you see the definition given here, it says Viveka is Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. So here we have to understand the Viveka in a seeker starts with Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka, which later on, after Guru Shastra Upadesha, after Shravana Manana Nididhyasana, matures to become Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Viveka. So in the beginning, seeker doesn't see Jagat as Mithya, he only sees Jagat as Anitya. What is the difference between Anitya and Mithya? When we say Jagat is Anitya, we mean to say that Jagat, though impermanent, still exists. But when we say Jagat is Mithya, it means Jagat is illusory and non-existent, though it may appear to exist. So as a seeker, he starts with Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka, but later on, with self-knowledge, his understanding, his Viveka matures into Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Viveka. Next comes Viraga or Vairāgya. Verse number 21. Tadvairagyam jihasaya darshana shravanadibhihi dehadi brahma paryante ह्यनित्ये भोगवस्तुनि. Tad Vairāgyam. That is called Vairāgya. What is Vairāgyam? Jihasa. What is Jihasa? The desire to give up. What is that which you desire to give up? Bhoga Vastuni. All the objects of enjoyment. The desire to give up all the objects of enjoyment is called Vairāgyam. Why do you want to give up? Hyanitye, because they are impermanent. An impermanent thing can give only impermanent joy. An impermanent thing can give us only impermanent joy. We are not interested in impermanent joy because impermanent joy is nothing but pain alone. When you are attached to someone or something which is impermanent, there is joy. No doubt there is joy when we are attached to someone or something. But when that someone or something is gone, and it will definitely go because everyone and everything is impermanent. So what happens when that impermanent thing or being is gone? Suffering alone is the result. Pain alone is the result. So Vairāgya is the person who sees the pain in the superficial enjoyments. So therefore, he gives up the objects of enjoyments. Those objects of enjoyments, how are they experienced? Darshana Shravanadhibihi, by the sense organs. All the objects of enjoyments are experienced by our sense organs. We see it, smell it, taste it, touch it, feel it. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. So Vairāgya is the desire to give up these sense enjoyments because you are not interested in it. Because you see only pain. Agre amrutopamam pariname vishamiva. In the beginning it is like nectar, but in the end it is like poison. To what extent is his dispassion? Dehadi Brahma Paryante. From his body till Brahmaji's body. He just cannot be tempted. Even if you give him Brahmaji's body, even if you give him Brahmaji's world, he will just reject it. Now you must be thinking, what is so great about Brahmaji? Now see, Brahmaji's one full day is 2000 Chaturyuga. One Chaturyuga is 4 yugas put together. Satya, Treta, Dwapara and Kali. 4 yugas put together is one Chaturyuga. So one Chaturyuga is 43,20,000 years. Brahmaji's one day is 2000 Chaturyugas. And this way Brahmaji lives up to 100 years. So you can calculate. So how many years Brahmaji lives? 2000 into 365 into 100 into 43,23,000 years. It comes to crores and crores and crores of human years. And not only that, Brahmaji lives in Satyaloka, which is also called as Brahmaloka, the highest among all the 14 worlds. Everything is available there. It is said there is no disease, no old age. And the only suffering the Brahmaloka Vasis have is the pain due to compassion. Their hearts melt when they see jivas suffering in this world. This is the only pain they have. So now, to such a Vairāgi, even if Brahmaji's body is given to him, Brahmaji's world is given to him, he rejects it. Now this is the height of dispassion. Now why does he reject Brahmaji's body? See, Brahmaji may live for crores and crores and crores of years, but a day will come when he will also have to vacate his past. He will also have to give up his body. So that is also anityam only. How does it matter whether your anityam is shorter anityam or longer anityam? It is also anityam. So this is viraga. Viraga means the desire to give up due to distaste in sense enjoyments. Viraga, V plus raga is viraga. Raga means passion, attachment, desire. V means devoid of. So viraga means freedom from all kinds of ragas, desires. That is viraga or vairagya. Next qualification is Samadhi Shatka Sampatti. The sixfold qualifications. What are they? We will see tomorrow.
Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kasyid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.